so that all of our beautiful friends who cannot join us live can watch this on the replay. So welcome everybody, and hi. Just kind of starting slow, giving people a chance to log in, because I know sometimes it takes a few minutes for Zoom to let people log in. So if you guys want to jump in the chat and say hello, let me know where you are watching from. Some of you already know where you are. Some of you are super close by, and then we're all around, which is really awesome. And that's one of my favorite parts of doing online business and doing challenges online, is that we get to all come together from all over the place. We've got extremes, Canada, sunny Caribbean, right? I know we got some Australians joining us, but they're going to be probably watching this as the replay, because for them, it's like 2:30 in the morning. So I'm super excited to have all of you here. Yeah, Antigua. Woo! That's what I need. I need some Antigua in my life, I think. I need to come down and see you guys in the Caribbean. For real, get away from this gray New Jersey that's been going on all week. And you got a winter wonderland in Canada. Yeah, that's the thing about New Jersey. It just is gray in the winter. Gray, damp, and cold. Doesn't get that beautiful wintry thing. So I'll be happy to get back to Florida and get in the sun, Lauren, you know. So welcome everybody. So excited to be kicking this off with you all, and so excited to see the amount of people. I think I've got over 50 people that are registered to do this challenge with us, and I'm so excited about that, because that tells me that I've got over 50 people that are activating their multidimensional badassery for 2020, and that excites me. And so I thought we would get started, because I had a couple of people who signed up and they're like, I'm not even sure what being multidimensional means, but this sounds right for me, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. And I applaud that, because for me, when we take action on something that like we find that we're drawn to, but we're not 100% sure of, like, okay, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Like, I had no idea what I was doing when I signed up with both of my coaches, who I still work with at different levels and love the hell out of. Both of them do a lot of, one does a lot of Kundalini stuff. Some of you also work with her. One does a lot of multidimensional stuff. And both of them, when I signed on, I really had no idea what I was doing. One of them I found through just like this, a challenge. And I had no idea really what Kundalini was going to bring to my life. And I did it anyway. And it was like, blast me wide open. So that's the point of this, right? You guys found your way here. Some of you have worked with me in different capacities before. Some of you have been around me for like this whole damn journey, watching my whole growth. Some of you have come in over the last year, and I'm watching your growth journeys. Some of you are brand new to the fold, and that's awesome too, because this challenge is perfect. All my clients are doing this challenge with us too, because this is the type of thing that is perfect for everybody. Because being multidimensional, first and foremost, means that you're starting where you are and you're growing and you're expanding from there. So give me a yes over in the comments, or a hell yes if you know that growth and expansion is something you want in 2020. Because I don't know about you guys, but 2019, right? Hell yes, yes, right? 2019 was kind of a crazy year. And I know expansion is my word for 2020. I love that. 2019, a lot of us went into 2019. And I know too that, right, everybody that's here, we're all kind of different. Some of you are also coaches and healers like I am. Some of you are working your thing, doing your jobs, and still trying to like get the hone in on what exactly your calling is. That's cool. Some of you are already doing your thing in the arts, right? Like Ash, I know you're doing your thing in the arts and doing your thing in other areas. So everybody is a little bit, some of you guys are really into fitness, right? There's a lot of different things happening for all of us, which is like, so as we went into 2019, I think a lot of us thought 2019 was going to be the year we're like, oh, okay. What we didn't realize was 2019 was going to be the year that dragged up everything that was preventing us from stepping more fully into our badassery, right? And stepping more fully into the things we want. It was a growth year. 100% it was a growth year. And the thing about growth is that, number one, it's not linear, right? Nobody's growth is going to look like anybody else's growth. There's no map that says, oh, here's what your growth is going to look like. You're going to do this at this time, and then this is going to happen. No, right? It's all over the place. It is all over the plot. And Yeah, Victoria's here. Awesome. Cool. So I pulled cards before we started because what we're going to do in this opening ceremony is we're going to activate the grid. I've already created an energetic container for this challenge. This is part of what I do. I created an energetic container and a grid and a beautiful multidimensional evolution crystal that is infusing this grid with energies and pillars. And I'm going to talk to you all a little bit like that. And we're going to do a short meditation that's going to plug you all into the grid. Yeah, you felt it, Chantel, because you're plugged in. I know. And so what this is going to do, it's going to have you guys actively knowing that you have this grid to support you. And what that means is when stuff is coming up, right, the stuff that would usually trigger you or knock you off your center or get you obsessing about trying to control it, you're going to put it in the grid. You're going to turn it into a little shape and you're going to put it in the grid. You're also going to put your intentions in the grid, right? Because here, first and foremost, being multidimensional means you get that you and your mind and your brain and your intellect, the way we've been taught to live, are not in charge, right? Because there's bigger forces at work, right? Give me a yes if you all agree that you have a soul or a higher self or a soul team, right? That you agree, yeah, for sure, right? That there's more to you, but that maybe for part of your life, like me, you've gone through life thinking like, oh, I got to have all the answers. I got to figure it out on my own, right? I got to rely on my mental ability or my physical strength or my ability to freaking charge through my emotional crap and show up and handle it, right? And what that does is it plugs us right into like a slave grid of doing. Like we believe if we're not doing, then we're not going to receive, that we have to do to receive, right? One of the biggest slave grids out there is the grid that tells us that we can't receive just for being us. Like anybody else get told, like, you got to work hard for the money. That was one of the earliest lessons I ever received. Every time I asked for money, like money doesn't grow on trees, right? You got to work for your money. You got to do something for money, right? You have to do and do. Otherwise you're not going to get any, even praise. If you weren't off doing chores and doing good child things, you weren't going to get love and praise, right? That's just the way it was like a couple decades ago. It's a little different now. I know every child gets a trophy, right? So they're getting all the love and praise. It's swung in the other direction, but this is the way we come to balance. So I love that you guys are feeling this. So the cards that I pulled for the collective as a whole, I pulled two cards, one for what this group, what this collective, what this everybody who's here. And this doesn't matter. I just want to say too, it doesn't matter if you're on these live or you catch them as the replay. Another really big piece of being multidimensional is that we're working a lot beyond time space. We're working a lot in beyond this realm that you and I are talking in. Yes, we're getting together and we're talking so that everybody's minds can come along for the ride. But a lot of what we're doing is in the energetic, which means it doesn't matter if you're on it live or the replay because time space doesn't exist in the dimensions that we're going to be expanding into. So as a whole, the card I pulled for what this group is moving away from is all about triggers. It's all about mirroring. And I think we can all agree that 2019 has been a really big mirror year, right? Can anybody? Yep, yeah, all about that energetic life. You guys already know where I'm going with this. 2019 was a year that was showing you like all the things, right? All the triggers. I thought 2019 was going to be my year that I was going to finally, have all this success in my business and that everything I had been doing in the previous years was going to come to fruition. Instead, 2019 was the year that imploded everything that I had been doing in the previous years because none of it was in alignment. So everything I was doing exploded, it fell apart. I started over like 3 different times. I must have been called to launch like all these different things and everyone, like none of them were a success. There was times that I wanted to give up, right? And if it wasn't for the people around me that were supporting me, right? Like the sisters that I met through different programs, some of you are in here, the coaches that I've chosen to work with that were holding up mirrors, like my husband, who lucky for me, he gets it. He's entrepreneurial too, right? I didn't have even my mom and my stepdad, like the people around me, I've been blessed in that they never told me like, don't you think it's time you give up? Every time I went back and I was like, can I borrow more money? I'm in trouble again. Right? Like I constantly had to get bailed out from, because you can't build a business without money. So my personal growth has been hugely around money, healing my money energy, and then also allowing myself to step back and let my vibration do the work for me. And that is what we're going to be working a lot on as we move away from what's mirrors and triggers, right? But we're not moving away from them in a way that we're bypassing and projecting them onto other people and not owning them as ours. We're moving away from them in a way where, yeah, Lauren, feeling you. It's been a crazy year. And so as we learn to own our triggers, right? And the same way that you can walk outside and be like, oh, it's cloudy today, right? Like, do you walk outside and throw a temper tantrum because it's cloudy? No. I mean, maybe we used to when we were kids and we wanted to go play, right? But no, we don't have like these extremely like crazy blown up reactions over the weather. Yet, when stuff comes up that triggers us emotionally, what do? We go straight into fight or flight. We go straight into reaction, right? We shut down, we get angry, we deny it, we project it. And oftentimes, I walk outside and throw a temper tantrum when it's hot. Yeah, no, I do that actually. When it's super humid, I'm like, can't stand it. So the interesting thing is that our mirrors and our triggers are our biggest points of growth. But the power move happens when we can look at the mirror and look at the trigger and say, okay, this is bringing up I'm feeling some type of way about this. That means I have some part in it. And we move away from this idea that it's not ours. And here, I'm just going to call it out really quick before we do our meditation. Something that I've been exposed to, and I know some of you have also been exposed to in various different metaphysical circles and healing circles and spiritual communities, there has been a very real paradigm of the spiritual bypassing, and these people that place themselves in like guru status or teacher status, they very much have been promoting like the spiritual bypass. They teach from a perspective that they've done all their work. And I personally had quite a few experiences with this over the last 2 years, where when I would bring things up to people that I thought I had wonderful relationships with as teachers, they would project it back to me and tell me that it was me just projecting on them. Now, I'm always more than willing to stop and say, am I projecting? Like, is this some form of me being insecure or jealous or wounded? Like, am I coming from a wound right now? And so those of you that already looked at day one's exercises today, you're going to see that it's all about grounding. And a key piece of us being able to see ourselves clearly is grounding, right? Also, being able to stop and realize, like, it doesn't matter if we're calling ourselves out. It's funny. Like, we do funny stuff as humans. When we're coming from being wounded and when we're shut down and we go on the defensive, we act like caged animals. I'm a fighter, right? I shut down, I walk away, I stonewall, or I want to yell and I want to go into anger because anger makes me feel powerful. Those have been my learned defenses. Now, I don't still do these things, right? Because this is part of expanding into your multidimensionality, is accurately assessing where you are and what you do, and then choosing which parts of it, which bits of it still serve you and which don't. So this whole multidimensional badass evolution challenge is about you guys all cleaning out your closets, giving yourselves an upgrade, right? Like, technology. You guys know I love this analogy. Those of you that have been around me for a while, right? You know I love using this as an example. And I wish I was at home because I could go whip out my iPhone first generation that's sitting in a drawer and it's like this big and it looks like a toy compared to our iPhones now. But like, we don't we've all updated our phones, right? Like nobody's got a big old wooden freaking rear projection TV that's like this big and has like a dial on it, right? Or some metal antennas. Anybody? Like rotary phones, right? We update all of this stuff. We update our cars. We upgrade our wardrobes. We outgrow clothes and we get new ones. Yet, what we don't get taught to do is upgrade our belief systems. And there's plenty of reasons for that, right? There's plenty of other energies and entities at play that love for us to be in. My new cute brick phone ain't cutting it, right? Time for an upgrade. There are plenty of entities out there that would love to keep us in ignorance and insecurity of our power, because consumerism and capitalism thrive on us not being connected to ourselves, right? And upgrade our belief systems. That's what it's all about, right? Because what we've been taught, and the thing is what we've been taught at a very young age. And a lot of it came from very dysfunctional families, right? This isn't a bag on our families. Like, I'm not here to point blame and let's all get mad at our families. Like, I did that in therapy all through my teens and early 20s when they kept shoving me into rehab and therapy and encouraged me to talk about why I was so angry, right? And for me, that just didn't work. Like, it didn't work for me to sit around beating the horse about why I was angry. For me, what I had to do was expand into my multidimensionality so that I could understand that life wasn't linear, right? And that I could go back to my past at any time and shift my perspective on things with what I know now. And that is what started to allow me to see differently in my life, right? I started to see that I had this perspective in my life that was really skewed. And it was really like, oh, the world is stacked against me. Life is so hard for me. It's not fair. All of this nonsense that I was telling myself. And so I was creating based on that. And that's why I kept looping around in emotional overwhelm and, addiction and depression. And that felt like crap. And one of the things I'm really tired of watching is really beautiful, gifted, powerfully energetic people get diagnosed with things like anxiety or depression or, whatever it is, and then being told by doctors and the people in their life that, like, this is it and you're going to have to deal with this forever. They get fed like a plate full of limitation, buy into it, and keep feeding on that every single day and keep recreating based on that every single day, right? Of course, we're going to feel depressed or anxious or traumatized or sick or ill if every day we wake up and we start playing the same tape, right? That says, I'm depressed. No, when we can stop and realize, okay, maybe when I went to the doctor and he told me I was depressed, I actually was depressed. I can get with that. Sure, I was experiencing depression. Yes, I was experiencing anxiety. But am I willing to consider that maybe I have a choice about what I'm going to experience now, right? Basically, the way we're taught to live life is to wake up every single day and put on the same old outfit over and over and over again, energetically. We put on the same costume each day. We don't even know we're doing it. And from behind that costume, we keep creating our reality from a place of unconsciousness, right? Like from a place of just autopilot, like not intentionally. When we start to wake up multidimensionally, we realize, oh, okay, there's something to this idea that I can create my reality every single day. And we begin to choose to consciously create our reality. Now, I would also love to tell you all that when you decide to start creating your own reality and you decide to awaken, it just happens and poof, everything flows in. Yeah, Joe, exactly. Right after I was diagnosed with depression, I assumed that this was just my life now. And so we do that. And now the truth of the matter is that we can begin to choose to recreate ourselves each and every day. And that's what we're going to be doing, especially in this first week of the challenge. And when we start to do this, things may fall away. We may lose things, quote unquote lose, right? Because we don't really lose anything, but things may fall away from us that are no longer in line and in alignment with who we're becoming. And that's where a lot of people, when they try to go through these awakenings on their own, start to kind of freak out and run back to what makes them feel safe. Because if you think about it, right, we surround ourselves unconsciously with things that we believe bring us some level of security or safety. If those things start to fall away and we're unprepared for that to happen, what's going to happen? We're going to be like, oh, to hell with this work, right? Our ego is going to jump in full force and have us run back to what we knew was safe. And so it's like then we get sick of it again. And give me a guess if you guys can relate to this, right? Like you get sick of where you are again, and then you start taking action on it. Stuff starts to shift, stuff starts to fall away, and something sabotages. And then all of a sudden you find yourself back, right? You might see it with physical appearance, like if anybody's trying to lose weight, right? Or change something about their physical appearance, because weight can be a really big thing that we do to pad ourselves, to protect ourselves from the external world. And until we address the underlying issue, that little safety control mechanism back here won't let us do it. Money, if we don't think it's safe to earn money because we somewhere along the way picked up a belief that money's not for me, rich people are bad, money is bad, money's the source of all evil, then yeah, exactly, Ash, root chakra trauma, right? How are we ever going to allow ourselves to call in the true abundance that is our birthright? We're not going to, because we're buying into this lie that, yeah, it's not cool to have money, right? I see that a lot in spiritual communities, like beautiful minded people with great intentions that want to do wonderful things in the world, and they're just always broke and wandering around. And I'm like, how are you going to truly give your gifts to the world if you don't have resources behind you? And we do that though, because there's this illusion that we get fed, this false light template that tells us having money isn't spiritual, right? Yeah, Joe. And I just want to come and read on your comments before I go on. Yep, I feel things falling away already, and it's pretty uncomfortable. Stephanie, beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And on that, I want to say that's where I encourage you all to post in the group, right? Post in the event group, post in the Wild Soul Freedom Collective group. If you guys are feeling uncomfortable or alone or stuff is coming up, right? Remember, we're moving away from everything being a mirror and triggers. So that means stuff is going to come up. Post about it. We're going to have a midpoint, like kind of coaching and Q&A clarity call. Bring your stuff to that, right? I can only assist you all in getting a deeper perspective if you let me know what's going on, right? If you get vulnerable and you say, hey, here's what's happening, and it feels like whatever it feels like, right? It's through acknowledging where we are that we get to move on and grow. The Infinity Gauntlet, bring it on. Can interact yourself, but make sure you're actively working on replacing those on teachings. Exactly. I went through a lot of programs and slid right back into old habits because I wasn't actively working on retraining my old paradigms. That's so big, Ash. And that too. So y'all are going to have these, right? And everything we do in here, you're also going to have, access to forever. You can keep the emails. You can keep all of the videos. You can rework on this stuff, right? If you make it a practice and you make it a priority, it will become your new normal, right? As we go through it too, you guys will hear about the academy and the membership site I'm launching. That'll be an option as we finish off the challenge. If you want to work more deeply, that'll be something that I'll talk about later. Because the other piece of the puzzle, the beautiful part, what we're moving towards, I pulled the Lemuria card. Now, those of you that are into other civilizations and whatnot, Lemuria is one of the, to me, most beautiful and aligned frequencies that we can create here on Earth. Now, we can talk about and learn about Lemuria as this other civilization that exists in some other dimension, or it once existed on Earth and now it's gone. But for me, this card represents a consciousness. For me, this card is like the epitome of fifth dimensional consciousness. And it means that we're operating from a place of heart-centeredness, right? Those of you who did all the December activations through all the December portals of evolution, you know that we talked a lot about becoming heart-centered and what that means. And so this Lemuria card is all about creating heaven on earth, meaning this is the beautiful thing. Being married to an Atlantean, I fully believe in Lemuria, totally, right? Because all of these beings exist. And the beautiful shift that we're moving into now is that it's not like 5D is happening and we're just going to poof, not be physical beings anymore. Right? That's the way like the logical mind wants to think about it. Oh, you're talking about going into the 5th dimension. So what's going to happen to the 3rd dimension? It's just going to fall away and, you know, not exist, right? No, we're still going to be here in physicality. We're still going to be talking, but we're going to become more evolved, heart-centered human beings. And those of you that are doing this now are on the leading edge of that, right? I believe that anybody who's here in this space doing this challenge is one of, you know, a soul connected group that chose to come here and be human, experience the contrast we're experiencing so that you could step up and step into your gifts and awaken and become a leader in whatever area of life it is that speaks to your heart and you want to lead in, right? Because that's the thing. How many of you have ever caught yourself saying or heard somebody else say something along the lines of, oh, I would love to do X, Y, or Z, but there's already so many people doing X, Y, or Z, so it's probably just saturated and I probably shouldn't bother. Or like buying into that illusion that like it matters what anybody else is doing, right? Because yeah, Joe, we've been taught that like the idea of like competition is real, that we are in competition with each other. And the truth is there are millions of souls on this planet right now who haven't even begun to consider awakening or expanding. And there are various communities and groups and demographics that are going to be looking for leaders in whatever it is. The thing is that if it lights up your heart and soul, then it is what you are here to do. And it is part of what you are here to do, right? The other thing I want to call attention to is this other kind of thing we've been fed, that we have to be here to serve, that it's all about serving, right? Yes, in a sense, but there's a little bit of like a construing with that phrase, because we're then buying into, I have to serve, right? Give me a yes if you guys know that you've gotten caught in like, oh, well, I have to be serving. The bigger piece is that no, you're here to be you. You are here to expand more fully into you, to be the most brilliant self-expression of you, live your life, do the things that light you up, and then serve by default, right? So instead of making it like, oh, I have to be here to be a servant, no, you're just here to be you. The more you be you, that's how you're going to serve, right? By shining your light so fucking brightly that people can't help to notice and be like, I need to be around her or him or them. I need to learn from them. I want to live like that, right? Without you even doing anything besides being yourself. Like, of course, then if you're in business, you're going to put out marketing and all that because that's the way, right? Those are the pathways that that's a way you shine your light. But if we are sitting back and we are trying to give our gifts to the world without fully understanding, I just need to be me and do what works for me, and then people will, right? And we start tapping more fully into letting our vibration do the work, right? Exactly, Chantel. As we expand, we naturally serve. Your presence is your service. Boom, Warren, love that. That's what it's all about. Yeah, the brain is too powerful. It really, really, really is. And a big piece of what we're doing in this challenge is getting the brain and the heart on the same page, with the heart in the driver's seat for a while. Like, let's try that out, right? Because the brain is really powerful. The ego is really powerful. We create most of our blockages and our limitations from our mind. And then in coaching, they start telling us it's all about mindset. It's all about mindset. Yes, mindset is one piece of it, But if we're only ever doing mindset work, well, then when we're not clearing it out of the physical, the emotional, and the energetic. So what we're doing in this challenge is clearing it out of your energy so that you guys can open up and expand and start plugging into everything that is available to us. So before we go into our little activation and our meditations, does anybody have any questions or anything they'd like to share about anything, really? Anything that feels like it needs to be asked or shared? And I know there's a bit of a lag, so I'm just, no, but this validated why I felt compelled to join this group. Yes. I love moments of validation. Like, they're absolutely my favorite, because for me in my journey, as I grew into understanding myself energetically and spiritually and multidimensionally, and I learned to start listening to my soul, I was always really unsure at first. So then when I would do something and then I would get the validation, I was like, yes, I was right, because it feels so good. And something I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about as we get further into the challenge is your human design. So in human design, it says that we all have an inner authority of some type, except I'm this mental projector that doesn't have an inner authority. So I struggle sometimes with tuning into the parts of my body that really can cue me. So when I get the validation for a choice I made, I really, really enjoy that and celebrate that. Any of you guys, when you get aha moments or validations, or even when something triggers you, celebrate it, because it is you. It's showing you, it's now triggering you and standing out to you, because you're no longer willing to tolerate it. Like, what if we approached triggers like that, right? That when something begins to trigger us, yay, because that means I'm no longer willing to just let this be in my field unnoticed. So it's like, boom, now it stands out and it's a trigger. That means I'm growing. And that is something worth celebrating. That is a hell yeah win-win moment. And I want you guys to share your wins and your hell yeahs as we go through this journey too, right? Share them in the group, share them in the event space, wherever. So, all right, let's all take a moment. We're going to switch gears a little bit and kind of move over into our right brain, our receptive brain, right? Our yin energy. Just sit back, close your eyes, and let yourself go into receptive mode. Take a nice deep breath in, breathing in through your nose and filling up your belly. Pausing at the top of the inhale and just exhaling out. And breathing again into your belly. And exhaling out. And one more of those, breathing in. And exhaling out. Just consciously opening my channel and requesting support and guidance from my beautiful Arcturian and Pleiadian friends. And opening this grid, officially opening this container. Requesting that any of the light being guides, soul guides, of any of the beautiful beings that are participating in this container, in this challenge, I invite you to join us now to assist them on their own journeys. And as you focus on your breath, I want you to just drop your attention down to the base of your spine and envision a beautiful red cord coming out of your root chakra down into the earth, all the way down into the earth, plugging you into the deepest core of the earth, drawing energy up from Mother Earth, plugging you into all of the support and the abundance that comes from the earth, and then also extending a beautiful silvery gold cord out of the crown of your head, shooting all the way up into your soul star, all the way out into the galaxy, plugging you into your higher self, your soul team, your multidimensionality. And as you breathe, just begin to let your attention drift down into your body. Maybe scanning your body, noticing if you feel any sensations, tapping into your energy, to your energetic field. You might feel some sensation or tingling around the palms of your hands. Maybe you feel sensation or tingling around your crown or your third eye, or a sensation in your heart. And as you do that, dropping your attention down to your belly, your solar plexus, and picturing a gold cord coming out of your belly button and going down into the earth, actively plugging you into the earth from a solar plexus level, the core of your identity, connecting you more deeply to the earth that is here to support us and guide us. And as you continue to breathe, just envisioning yourself standing in a circle with all of the beautiful souls that are participating in this challenge. Whether they're here live on the call or catching the recording later, it doesn't matter. Just imagine that we're all standing in a circle, over 50 people standing in a circle, connecting, just envisioning that there's beautiful, violet, shimmery, golden energy drawing a line around us, flowing from my hands to your hands, connecting us all. And as it connects us in the circle, see it then begin to travel upwards, creating a dome around us. And in this dome, it's like you can see the grid that is this container. You can see the beautiful grid that is this container. Maybe you're seeing it, maybe you're feeling it, maybe you're just sensing it, maybe you just know it's there. However you're experiencing this is perfect. And in this grid, you can actually see the crisscross lines forming the grid over us. You can see this beautiful purple shimmery energy and green frequencies, golden frequencies traveling through this grid. And in the center of this grid, you can see this beautiful energetic crystal that I have infused this container with, shining with beautiful shimmery purple and green frequencies. It's infused with the pillars, with the energies of divine abundance, infinite evolution, heart-centered self-love and compassion, and expansion. 4 pillars, templates of this container, of this grid. And as you see yourself now plugging into this grid, it's like there's energy, there's cords coming out of your crown chakra, your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your high heart, your sacral, your root, all the way down into your earth star. And you're just plugging directly into this grid. And as you plug into this grid, I want you to allow yourself to receive the energy. And through this grid, I am sharing all of my codes, all of my templates, just like a cloud, just like a drag and drop. Beautiful codes for grounding, for healing, for expansion, abundance, understanding, focus, conscious creation. All the codes are here to be shared with you in whatever is your highest good. You will not receive anything you're not ready for. And while you're downloading, I want you to also upload. See yourself now infusing this grid with your intention for this challenge. What would you like to have called in or experienced through doing this challenge? And I want you to see yourself infusing that energy into this grid, releasing it, surrendering it, understanding that as you release your intentions into this grid, it serves as a vortex, which is going to lead you and guide you to all that you want, if you're willing to listen and learn to follow your intuition and follow your soul. Also, releasing any bits of you, any parts of you, any aspects of you that feel resistance, that doubt, any of the old grids and paradigms, any of the old slave grids and slave codes and control codes, any that you're ready to be done with. I want you to now envision that you're turning them into a shape out in front of you. So maybe if it's people pleasing, You're going to mash it into a square or cube or a circle, triangle, whatever shape and color you're experiencing is perfect for you. Maybe it's control and trying to control everything. Turn it into a shape in front of you and see it infusing into the grid. Maybe it's fear, anxiety, perfectionism. Whatever it is for you that you're done with, that you're leaving in 2019, chuck it into this grid now. As these things go into this grid, what happens is they become transmuted, they become neutralized. And the neutralized energy flows back to us. And then just drop your attention back into your body and begin to notice if you're feeling any sensations in your palms or any of your other chakras, just noticing what you're feeling. And now in this space, I invite you to request any answers or anything that you want clarity on. You can put that out into the grid now and open yourself up to receiving the answers. And they may come right now as a direct thought or a vision. They may come later. They may come from something somebody else says. They may come from a book. They may come from a song coming on the radio. Just fully committing and opening yourself up to this journey. Surrendering to this journey. And then go ahead and place both of your hands right on the bottom, left on the top over your heart. And as you breathe, breathe into your heart space. And just envision this vibrant green energy infused with gold, just activating and growing in your heart center, dropping into your heart. Just beginning to move that energy down your left arm, into your left hand, back through your right hand, through your chest, down your right shoulder and your right arm, back into your right hand and back into your heart. So moving this energy as you breathe like a figure eight. Seeing this beautiful figure eight, green and gold, shimmery energy, the infinity sign flowing through your heart, through your high heart, down your arms, into your palms. Letting that energy move faster and faster as it opens you, clears, plugs you in, activates you. Breathing into it, opening yourself up to the brilliance and the beauty that is you. Taking a moment to allow some of that energy to travel down through the base of your spine, through that core, deep into your earth, plugging it into the earth for all to share. This is what I mean at activating the truth of you and sharing it with the earth. You're now sharing your energy, your light, your power with everyone in the world who's ready for it or can benefit from receiving it. And so you're serving them just by activating a deeper layer of you. And then just opening yourself up. Imagining now that you're seeing your energetic container, your energetic grid all around you. And I want you to go ahead with this energy charged in your hands, and I want you to reach out and grab your grid, your personal grid for abundance and expansion and receiving. And I want you to stretch your grid. Stretch it. Make it bigger. Make it as big as you feel like you are ready to make it. This is the grid that allows you to receive. And as you make it bigger, and now I want you to infuse it, plug that grid into this other group grid. And allow the energy of this challenge, of this container, to flow into your personal grid even more. And just take a moment now to really lock that in on a cellular level. Locking it in, letting it travel through all the cells in your body, create shifts in your physical body and your DNA, activating all of your dormant DNA. It's also something we'll be working more deeply with to open you up more fully in your capacity to understand you as a multidimensional being. Just take a last minute to observe anything you're feeling, hearing, seeing, tasting, touching, knowing is there. locking it in, receiving any other messages or guidance. Taking a nice deep breath in to expand your belly, letting it travel all throughout your body, pausing at the top of the inhale, sipping in just a little bit more air, filling it up, directing your attention to your third eye and the crown of your head, looking slightly upwards at your third eye, feeling your field expand, holding it as long as you can, feeling yourself expand. And when you're ready to release, just releasing out with an ah. And as you relax into the release, just feel the flow of energy flowing to you. And then when you're ready, opening your eyes, coming back to this moment, this physicality, looking around at your surroundings, knowing that you've shifted. So how does it feel different? What feels different? What looks different? What have you noticed? Buzzing, awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of energy, powerful energy that you guys are plugging into. I feel buzzing too a lot, and that's when I know usually that I'm starting to channel as I get buzzy and I start like moving, I start rocking a little bit. Radiant, powerful word. So I would love to hear from everybody. Yeah, a word that sums up what you've just experienced, or if there's anything, what did you love about that experience? What stood out to you? What did you feel during it? Anything you want to share at all is welcome to be shared. I was able to receive, I love that. Release and unlocking, Zoe, awesome. I can feel the flow. Yeah, it's powerful because a lot of times we don't realize how much we're energetically blocking ourselves from what we want. And we're here and we're doing the things and we're taking action, but like nothing's happening. And it's because we've got a big old energetic barrier around us because we got told, you know, dim your light. You can't be too shiny. Stop seeking attention. So awesome. Victoria, weight lifted off, feeling light, flowing and glowing. I love that. Flowing and glowing. Powerful. My words for 2020 are flow and alignment. Right now it's surrender, release, and growth to prep me for the woo-hoo. I love that. My fingertips were buzzy, and then my palms. I asked a few questions and actually heard an answer, second guessing. Yeah, because that's that mind, right? When we're in the mind, we second guess. When we're in the heart, we trust. I have a question. And yes, please, you guys, if you guys want to ask any questions, fire them away now before we wrap things up, because I would love to answer. Doing this work, how does it affect the others close to us, around us? Are they activated too? Wait, did you get the answer to that? Or are you asking me? Or you heard an answer for something else? Asking. Yeah, so it does absolutely, especially, oh my God, if you guys are mothers, first of all, I just need to say that, right? In family dynamics, the way that we've been taught under patriarchal living is like the man of the family wears the pants, right? The real truth of the matter is that in family dynamics, whoever is in the mother role, and don't get me wrong, guys, this isn't about gender, right? A man can be in the mother role. Doesn't matter who's in the mother role. But for those of you that have children of your body, you have an especially potent container that you are holding for your families, right? And even a lot of the indigenous tribes understood this, and that the women of the tribes were the emotional holders for the tribes. They were, because the feminine is the more emotional and nurturing energy, right? So for those of you that are in families and holding a mother role or a leader role, right, in your families, you will absolutely begin to see shifts traveling from you to, and that's the beautiful part of this, is that you never even have to open your mouth and preach a word to your children or your partners. Just by doing this, they will begin to receive, they will see the changes in you, and they will naturally come around and start to be more curious. And if any of you know that you yourselves were highly sensitive or empathic children, and you have highly sensitive or empathic children that maybe struggle in, you know, the regular school systems, because it's not designed for anybody that's not like a linear learner, you're going to be powerfully creating a very beautiful container for them to plug into as well. without even ever saying a word. And the beautiful thing is that as we expand, yes, people may fall away, and that's okay, right? Because we can trust that for every space that is created, we're going to bring in something even better. Now, of course, our families aren't just going to go away, right? And we don't want them to. Even the family members that maybe trigger us, it's whatever. We signed on for the families we did for a reason. And we may not all logically understand why we had to go through the things we do with our family. But as you guys grow into your multidimensionality and begin to heal and begin to expand your consciousness and your perspective, you'll be able to, like we said, right, going from the mirror and the triggers to the Lemuria. And you guys get to choose who and what is going to be parts of your life. You guys get to choose who you want in your inner circles, right? Like if there's a family member that or a person in your life that has tried to control you or triggers you, as you do your work around the trigger, guess what happens? They just fucking go away. And even if they don't physically go away, guess what happens? They can be right here and it's not a problem because you've done your part to diffuse what's in your field when it comes to that person. Right? And you just get to know that if someone is bringing up feelings of some type of way, it's just shining a light on what you're ready to be done with. And that's brilliant and beautiful. You guys may have seen the story I shared in my post. I have a fan who loves to share my business page posts and call me a devil worshiper. And she doesn't like that I talk about connecting with your soul. And I love this because once upon a time, even just a few years ago, yeah, Ash, she's still there. She's my number one fan. But a few years ago, I would have cared, is the point, right? It would have triggered me. It would have brought up feelings of like, oh my God, should I stop? Am I too much? Is my message too much? Do I need to stop talking about this? It would have brought up all of this fear and shame. Now, that has nothing to do with her, right? That's me. Now she does it and I'm like, cool. Like I see her grid. I see that she's plugged directly into a very crazy dogmatic fear and religious grid. And that's cool. If that's how she wants to live, that's fine. I'll be a catalyst for change. Like it doesn't matter to me anymore if someone misunderstands my messaging is the point, because once upon a time I would have gotten really triggered and felt the need to justify and explain and try to get them to see what I meant and try to get her. I would have been like trying to get her to get on my page and see why I'm not a devil worshiper and convert her. I don't have any need now to waste energy trying to convert people that, aren't ready to change. Where they are is where they are. It's fine. Yeah, Lauren sparked something in her too, and she's unaware of it, and I'm okay with that. So Kirsten, yeah, religion does this to people. And a lot of us have been there, right? Where religions do that. And that's something collectively that I think 2020 is going to really be about healing from. And yeah, Ash, I struggle with being a catalyst. I feel triggered when I'm a catalyst. It has a negative connotation to it for me. And that's where I used to be too. I used to get really, really, oh God, it was like a knot in my stomach and I would feel rejected. Like when I first got sober, I would write about addiction and I was writing a lot for Elephant Journal. And sometimes I would get these haters on my articles. Like one lady basically told me I would be high again in no time because, because she doesn't believe drug addicts can ever change or get sober. And I was like, wow. And when she did it, I was really butthurt. When she said that, like I wanted to go in and argue and try to convince her about why. And then I was able to pull back and realize that she was coming from a place of her own wound and judgment. She had probably been really wounded by someone with addiction in her life that proved, and I was like, this isn't my battle to fight. And that was one of the turning points where I really got to start to shift moving beyond that people pleasing, because I was really big plugged into the people pleaser codes, the slave grid of like needing everybody to approve of me, needing everybody to understand my message. And understanding now, like I'm a middle child and a younger sister. So you better believe like I was very early on trying to please my older sister, right? Number one lesson, we want to please. And the way that I pleased was to not shine brighter than anybody. And then as I grew, I realized that like, yeah, I have a big energy and a powerful presence. And yep, sometimes I say things that trigger the shit out of people, but I never do it from a place of malice or hate or, you know, trying to do that. I'm just speaking my truth from a place of love, and it's not under my control how other people respond to that. And that's one of the beautiful things about expanding into your multidimensionality. So you guys are relating with this. I can see all the comments. Yeah, I'm an approval junkie. And this will help you, Kirsten, because that approval and people pleasing slave grid, we're going to work deeply with that in this challenge, because I know it's a predominant one for us, especially, I mean, as women and men, we play it out in different ways, but it's such a predominant thing. This is why I'm compelled to be here. I need to unplug from the need to be accepted and validated by everyone, because the beautiful thing is, yes, when you guys each accept and validate yourself, that's when it stops mattering who's not accepting and validating us. Because the other piece is that we're naturally wired for connection. We want to be connected with one another. But the way that we got taught to be in the world is that it wasn't actually safe to be connected, because we all had whatever our trauma was that we didn't know we could heal from. We weren't allowed to talk about it. So we're trying to connect from behind this wall of trauma. And that just doesn't work, because the people we call in are other people who are also coming from an unhealed place. And that means maybe they're abusive also, maybe they're narcissistic, maybe they're the liars, maybe they're emotionally unavailable, right? And we look for validation in people that cannot give it to us, because we haven't been taught to look for it the only place we can get it, from within. And as you guys start to get it from within, you'll start to see how the world is mirroring it back to you. And this group and this community and everything that we're going to be doing with our full moon circles each month is all about growing that community and that collaboration, so that we're creating what we want. We're going to be creating a community of what we're looking for in the world, which is collaboration, co-creation, support, being seen, right? Being able to serve each other in that way, being able to acknowledge and honor one another. As you all step into it in yourself, the world will start mirroring it back. And that, in a nutshell, is what multidimensionality is all about, really. Understanding that it's all about what you're doing inside of yourself, what you're vibing at, what your frequency is, what you're focused on, and the world outside is just going to mirror back whatever it is that's happening for you. And a note on that, like we always want to say that when something unpleasant pops up, well, I don't have that, right? I'm not doing that. But the thing is that it's usually unconscious. And the other really big piece of what you're going to get from this is shifting away from the self-judgment and just loving yourselves wherever it is you are, triggers and all, defense mechanisms and all, right? Because it's all part of who and what we are. Yeah. Zoe, excited for the full moon circles. They'll be separate from this group, right? Yes. So the full moon circles are what we started in December, and I'll be sending out the info. For those of you guys that participated in the December evolution circles, you'll automatically get the emails to register for the January and on full moon circles. And I'll be sharing a link for anybody that didn't participate in the December ones, where you can register to be part of that, and then you'll get the info every single month. And also keep in mind, I want them to become co-creations. So if anybody feels like they have gifts or, you know, anything that they want to bring, ideas, healing modality, whatever it is you want to offer in the full moon circle space, it's an open free-for-all, not a free-for-all totally. It's a very tightly held energetic container, but you guys know what I mean. Right? It's not mine. I started it. I'm leading it for now, but I want it to become ours. So yes, if you guys have any ideas or anything you would like to bring to those circles, let me know. So going forward now, you guys should have your email for day one in your inbox if you haven't seen it already. Each day you'll be getting a video, some various, it's going to change each day. Someday there might be journal prompts. Someday, Lauren, you didn't get it. All right, let me check on that. I can resend it to you too. And you guys check in your filters too, because depending on which email service you use, sometimes they filter them over to social or promo or other or even spam. So check in all your files. Yeah, they get buried in my promotions. Yeah, so do mine in my Gmail. and I don't know how to fix that. So if you guys go in, you should be able to go into the emails and opt to get them into your inboxes. And if you ever don't get an email any day, just let me know and I can manually send it to you, because I want to make sure you guys are getting it, because that's where all the good juicy stuff is going to be. Yeah, oh, add you to my address book. Yeah, actually, if you add Lindsay at Hug Your Chaos to your address books, you should get them, maybe so that you see them. But if anybody else didn't get day one, let me know. And then, yeah, if you guys have questions as we're going on, please post daily, share on social media. Remember, we're doing a really fun giveaway. I'm curating some gift baskets for a couple of different prize packs that we'll draw from. So when I see you guys sharing and being active, and I see you sharing, especially in like your Instagram stories, because that's a really fun way to share little snapshots of what you're doing. Or you guys can share the images I sent out, create your own, share an aha moment, anything. You guys share, tag me so I see them, and you get added bonus entries into the giveaway drawing. I love seeing your dog here. I've got my brother's dog with me here too. Vixen. All the animals are always welcome in our circles. So I would love to hear, in closing, you guys, favorite part of this. What's something that you learned? What stood out to you? What was your favorite part? And if anybody else has any final questions, fire away now. So good to see all of your beautiful faces here with me live this morning. And for those of you that are catching this as the replay, sending you lots of love also. All of it. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yay. Good stuff. So with that, I will just gather up all this energy. Bow to you all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Go forth, enjoy your day. Guys, Happy New Year. Holy crap, right? Really sit with your intentions for this challenge. Sit with who you're going to become in 2020, who you're on your way to being, who you already are. And spread the love. Be wildly you and have it all, you guys. I'll see you soon. Much love. Bye. So awesome having you all here. Thank you.